Jarvis Neely here, you already know, it's your boy, the Mayor SF.
What's up, this is Travis from Death to Someday.
Yo, it's Justin from Tilted Rim SF.
Shout out to my guy, Gio.
Untitled Unlimited.
One love to Untitled Unlimited.
Untitled Unlimited.
Nicofasho in the motherfucking house.
What's good, y'all? This is Gio from the Untitled.mp3 podcast. I just want to say welcome back if you're a reoccurring listener. And if you're a new listener, welcome to the Untitled.mp3 podcast. This is a platform where we explore the minds of creative human beings. If you want to stay connected with us, you can go on our website, untitledunlimited.com, and follow us on Instagram, Untitled Unlimited. That's just plain and simple like that. Anyhow, thank you for tuning in. This is going to be a good interview. We actually interviewed Bay Area artist Nicofasho. His style is kind of like a West Coast funk style, which I enjoy so much. So I thought it was a huge privilege, a huge honor to speak to him. It's a good conversation. We spoke about his music journey. We spoke about basketball, and we spoke about a lot more. So I really hope you guys enjoy this audio file. I enjoyed the conversation. So with further ado, no more yap in my mouth. Let's get into the Nicofasho audio file. Hope you guys enjoy.
Said I'm deep down and dirty. I grew up hella early. Quit whining. I'm grinding. Bling blow. Shining like diamonds.
Welcome back to the Untitled MP3 podcast. This is Gio here, and I'm so excited to present who we have on today. Today's guest is an artist based out of the Bay Area. He recently dropped a 7-song album called La Huerta. It's honestly one of my favorite albums. It's so freaking good. He has a West Coast style that's a fusion of like hip hop and funk, and I'm sure there's a lot more that I'm forgetting. And in my eyes, he's probably one of the smoothest rappers out now. I don't think a lot of people are touching him, to be honest. I see the potential in this guy's artistry, and he provides music that's going to inspire you. Music that'll question your grind, music that'll make you proud to be a Bay Area native, and music that'll make you want to dance, smoke, and chill. Today's guest is Nicofasho. What up, my man?
Hey, what's going on, bro? Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Dude, no problem. It's good to see you. We were talking a little bit before this. I just want to let you know that I really love your album, La Huerta. Me and wifey, we listen to it all the time. That's my test dummy for music.
Hey, right on.
So I play shit on the speaker, and I hope she likes it so I can keep playing it. And when your shit comes on, she's like, all right, cool, I'm feeling this.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I know a lot of people, they want to go to the girls first and then have the girls show the guys the music. But for some reason, my audience is more dudes. So, anytime a dude gets to show as a lady and just kind of spread the word, it's appreciated. I love my brothers and all, but, you got to have the ladies listening too.
Hey, man, that's why Drake is killing it. He went for the ladies first. He was like, fuck all the dudes. Man, before we get started, thank you, bro. Look at this. Thank you. For those of you who can't see and are only listening on Apple Podcasts or something, he actually had merch with his last album, and it's a tape that you would put in a boombox, which I freaking love. I ended up getting one, and it's this quality, bro. Thank you so much for this. This is dope.
Oh, no problem, bro. No problem. Yeah, I hope you get do you have a tape deck yet or not yet?
Not yet, man. I used to, but it's a while ago, so.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. It might eat that shit up. Can I cuss on here?
Yo, of course, man.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, but I got that. So I got 2 tapes out so far. I got them right here. The Power Up EP with me and Kingston, produced by Diamond Ortiz, and then this one, La Huerta. Just trying to find little ways to at least break even, or maybe come out with a little bit of income. So it's a hobby for me, but at the same time, I want to be able to make money off it if I can. But I'm gonna do it in a genuine and organic way. So.
There you go, man. I feel like it also goes when you listen to your music, it's obviously it goes well for the new sound, but it has an old soul to it. So I think your old soul really matches with this type of merch. Hey man, I'm just an old soul in 2020, and I'm just trying to just express myself. Is that accurate, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think, for me, it's not even a conscious thing, because I just listen to what I listen to, but I don't turn the radio on in my car. I'm a DJ as well as a rapper. So I'm very meticulous about the music I like. And it's not like I was going for a West Coast sound or anything, but that is what I grew up on and what I listen to a lot and where I get a lot of my influence. So it wasn't intentional, but it's good music. And I figured, I could keep pushing it, and not a lot of people are doing it. So I figured, why not, just go with this sound for a while and just, let it breathe and see what happens with it.
Dope, dude. I just want to get into this before anything. You almost broke my heart, man. On Instagram, you said you were not going to make any more music. And in my mind, I was just like, fuck, I just found out about this guy and he's not going to have any more music. Yeah. Explain to us, like, why you went through that mindset. Because I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes that listeners don't know, that critics don't know, that friends don't even see, but that you know, and you know how hard it is. So explain what led to that point, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a grind, the music situation. I've been in a situation where nothing was really handed to me. I never found a team, or I never found a more experienced person who took me under their wing and kind of showed me this is how you do it and connected me with certain people. I've kind of been on an island the whole time. So with that given, I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. And sometimes a lot of the time, the hard way is the expensive way as well. In the situation I'm in, I feel like I had to play dumb to get smart. And when I say that, it's because there's a lot, especially in this music situation, there's a lot of people driven by ego and a lot of shady people. And if you let them know the information that you're trying to obtain from them, they might withhold that from you just because they want to keep the leverage in the relationship. So I was dealing with a lot of that and just getting kind of fed up with it. And then, not to say that that's all the relationships I've had. I've met a lot of really cool people too. But it was that, and then me starting to think about, I'm 28 years old, turn 29 tomorrow, started saving up for a house like at the beginning of the year. And as I'm getting closer to my goals, me and my lady are, got a number that we're working towards so that we can get our own place. I was like, man, I really got to start cutting costs just with typical lifestyle stuff. And the music for me still is more a hobby than anything. And I love doing it. But I was looking at it and I was realizing, man, I'm spending money on the beats unless I have like a really cool producer who's like, oh, just, I'll throw you beats. And then you got the mixing and mastering costs. Then you got promotion. You got to do your cover art. You got to pay for any promotions you're going to do. And then it's just a lot of the stuff that was coming with the music and being my own, not having a team pushing me, but just pushing me by myself. It was getting kind of wearing. So that's where I was coming from when I said I was going to quit. But to be honest, I got a lot of feedback, a lot more feedback than I expected from it. People tell me like, nah, man, you shouldn't, like, just keep going. And it really kind of made me realize like, oh shit, there's people who are like really listening to me and, like really enjoy my music. And it was humbling and it made me second guess. So now I'm like trying to figure out how to cut costs, but still make a high quality of work. And that's where I'm at right now. And luckily, like this guy that I'm working with right now, Osmito, who I'm going to make my next project with, he threw me hella beats and like we didn't even discuss the numbers till after. And as long as I can keep meeting people like that who are going to help me make the product that I want to make, then I'll be able to keep doing it. But when I was speaking that day, I was coming from a situation like, man, like I was feeling like Kanye up his sway, like, no, like, no, you don't have the answers. Like, oh, shit. Man. But, I was definitely very humbled by the response.
Yeah, man. That it definitely would have sucked if you would have stuck with that, especially because I really do enjoy your music, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well. There was actually, I couldn't find it today, but I swore there was a song on La Huerta where you were talking about the grind. You were talking about how much studio time costs. Am I tripping?
Oh, no, that was a feature. That was Bose de Leon. Ricky.
Got it. Sorry about that.
No, that's all good. That was one of my favorite verses on there. Ricky was like, when I was in high school, Ricky was the first guy I knew who actually rapped. And then I would go and show him my raps in high school. And then I'd be like, what do you think? And then he'd just kind of be like, oh, like do this, do that. So then as I got older and I started actually making music, I had to make sure to get him on that project. So shout out to Rick. He's a good dude.
Nice, man. Yeah, he really laid out a solid verse on a solid album. I guess because we started with like the whole, like, why are you going to stop? Let's just tell people about yourself. Like, who are you? Where are you based out of? And how'd you get into music?
Sure. Well, I'm Nicofasho. You know, it takes a couple drinks in me before I become Nicofasho. So that's when the alter ego comes out. You know, but
Yeah.
I was born in San Jose. Got a lot of family roots in Sacramento. Basically, both sides, both of my parents, as soon as their families came from where they were coming from, they hit Sacramento. And then we ended up moving here when my dad went to work at Silicon Valley. And then we actually moved to Livermore. Do you know much about Livermore?
I don't know much about. I've
No?
been
Okay.
there
So
like in my lifetime. I've been there like 4
story.
times. That's
Yeah.
about it.
I'll spare you that origin story. Just a small deep East Bay town, like kind of the Bay. The Bay doesn't really claim it, but technically it still is. And so I went to school out here, and you know, just always grew up loving music. I always kind of had a different taste than everybody else. I was always listening to older stuff, and then during the LimeWire days and all that, I got really acquainted with G-Funk. And then I think around 7th grade, I discovered Mac Dre, and then that just completely changed my life. And then so I was always making music. Like even in high school, me and my friend Albert would make it on the MP3 player he had. And it was a situation where it was like we play an instrumental, he'd do his whole song, his whole verse, and then he'd pass it to me real quick, and then I'd rap it, and then we go and show it to our friends, and they're like, "Hey, it's pretty good."
That
so
is
then
crazy.
From there, we went and joined a group, Heen Team, and it was just some crazy ass, cool ass white boys who were like rapping at the time. They just happened to have the stuff, and they were like, "Come over with us." So we were like making shit like that, but that was when everybody was still trying to be like thuggish, ruggish, and like. I think Jay Stalin and Lil Rue and Livewire and Lil, like all them were so we were all kind of trying to do that, but we were just some kids from Livermore, so it really didn't make sense. Yeah. But it was very important to my growth and development, just learning how to rap on a mic and stuff. From there, I joined a couple other groups, but we all fell out, never did much. Started making my own beats on a hacked FL, and I fell in love with sampling. And then that's when me and Kingston made our first project together, the Powwow. Welcome to the Powwow EP. That's on SoundCloud. And that was all beats that I made just on the Ripped FL studio. And then at that point, we made a song called Oldies that was getting kind of popular. So I decided, you know, maybe it's time for me to outsource for the beats. And then I started hitting up modern funk artists. One of them was Diamond Ortiz, who's based out of LA, but he's actually from San Francisco. And he was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it. Send me over the beats." I ended up kind of taking the role as executive producer for that, and you know, just making all the connections that need to be made, hitting up the people for the cover art for the tapes, and you know, keeping the relationship with Diamond Ortiz cool. And you know, I bought new gear, which is the gear I use now to record that tape, just because I'm a real perfectionist. And when I'm in the studio, sometimes the engineer wants to be like, "No, you're good. Like, that's good. Good. Keep going. But it's like, I could one take stuff all day, but I want to say things the way that I want to say it. So I bought my stuff, then recorded myself, recorded Kingston, and then that ended up becoming the Powwow Music EP. Nice. And that shit was cool. It got some got like a cool little amount of attention. I think it was on Fizzler for a minute, but like it didn't win the contest. And I was trying to get on CMT. Like Chewy Gomez hit me up and said it was like he was digging it and stuff. But then when I tried to push for him afterward, I didn't hear much back in return from. But it was cool for him to just be like, "Yeah, that's dope." And then I kind of like took a break for a year. And sorry, I'm ADD, so if I'm going all over the place, just reel me in.
No, you're all good. This is all about you, homie. Let's do it. I'm enjoying this. This is like a movie for me.
Okay. As long as I'm not talking your ear off. But then, yeah, so I took like a year off, and then kind of like the hype from the Powwow Music EP, it kind of died off. Like we had a couple of record labels that were talking to us about pressing up some CDs, some 7-inch vinyls, and it all just kind of like fizzled out. You know, people don't have the attention span, and I kind of stopped putting stuff out. Kingston ended up moving out of town, and we used to live down the street from each other. So it was kind of like me and him didn't have that connection anymore where we could just meet up and build together, because he was a big part of me just having the courage to be like, okay, let's do it this way. Like, if it wasn't for Kingston pushing me and being like, "No, Cuddy, you're good. Keep going." Like, it sounded dope. Like, before I even thought it was cool. If it wasn't for him continuing to do that, I probably would have never kept going. So I took that break, and then finally I realized, like, all right, it's time to do it myself now, see what I can do, if I can recreate this magic at all or what. Found Hunger Force Beats on YouTube, and I just love his sound. Like, I think dude is a fucking Like he's just a genius. Like every beat has that West Coast feel, super chill, but at the same time it has that bounce to it where it's still up tempo.
Yeah,
it's
not too chill to the point where it's like boring or you just start
right.
swaying off. It keeps you there throughout the whole song.
Yeah, and that's all from the beat. That's all I did was ride the beats on that. Like, and then so then that became La Huerta, and La Huerta is I named it that because me and my lady actually went out to Mexico because she was born in Mexico. She lived there for the first 6 years of her life. And we went to Michoacan, to a small town. And excuse me because I can't roll my R's.
All good, man.
We went to a small town called Puraron. It's something like that. Like I know how to say it in my head, but I can't say it. But what was interesting about it was she grew up about 100 miles away from where my family in Mexico was from. And I didn't know that. We didn't know that like when we were talking to each other. And eventually we talked to my aunt and she told us. So it was my first time back in Mexico. I was about 100 miles away from where my grandfather's mother was from. And we were in her uncle's avocado farm. I'd never seen an avocado tree in my life before.
Sick.
Never seen an avocado, but he just had this whole farm. And you know, have you ever been to Mexico? Like,
Never been.
I don't know about all Mexico, but I know in Michoacan, I noticed like they paint the bottom of the trees white. A lot of the bottom of the trees white. I'm not sure why some people say it keeps the ants off. Other people will say other things. I'm not sure why, but so it's all these trees and then they have the white bottoms and the avocados are just hanging. And the way they can tell an avocado is ready is it just falls off the tree. So they just go around and pick them up. And then so I'm sitting there watching it and I'm just kind of like, man, this is really cool. Like forget going to a resort or something. Like this is fucking dope. So then we ate the avocados. If you ever can go and eat an avocado fresh, I encourage you to do it because you can cut through the outside of it with a spoon. It's
my God, that is crazy.
Like, it's nothing like it is over here. So then when that was happening, we were watching a lot of Sopranos at the time because when we were on the plane, we were watching Sopranos. So, you know, the like criminal activity and drug smuggling. And I was like, what if I just made like a concept where like instead of smuggling drugs or something like that, like it's going to be smuggling avocados across the border, you know what I mean? And that's where I kind of got the idea from. I asked my wife, what would be a cool name in Spanish, like to call the album? And she was like, La Huerta. And she was like, that's kind of what this is. I was like, all right, fine, bet. I told the dude with the album, with the cover art, I told him I want it to be called La Huerta. I sent him the picture of me at the farm and I sent him the track list. I hadn't even made the shit yet. But I was
was this your photo that he just designed?
he digitized it. So I think
sick.
Yeah, I don't know what's his name?
Oh yeah, now like looking really close at it is. You can see like the tree and then what you're picking is an avocado.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously it inspired the album because if you look at the tape, it has like some avocado artwork there. If you look at the track listing, the first song is Avocado Farm Intro. So you definitely got tons of inspiration from that trip.
Avocado trees, man. It was crazy. And it, just to be so near a motherland, and I was really scared about how like I was like, man, I'm American. Like, I'm going to go down there. I don't know if they're going to like me. But, man, it was like nothing but love from the moment I touched down. It was like I felt at home. So that whole project was just kind of me like I'm dropping a lot of and it made me think of my grandpa a lot because he was my connection to my Mexican roots. And I drop a lot of sayings that he said or a lot of things that he told me in that project, like take my hat off at the table when it's time to eat. Like that's something he always told me. You used to get a little slap or something if you were sitting on the arm of the sofa. And so it kind of just put me in a place where I was thinking about a lot of things in my life that I hadn't thought about for a long time. And I wanted to record it, but at the same time, make it mean something else where it'd be able to translate to everybody else who didn't know that backstory.
Yeah. Damn. Well, great job on that. And, dude, that's just another testament that you get your creativity and your ideas from actually experiencing life. Because if you never would have gone on that trip, who knows, like, what La Huerta would have been, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You hit like a lot of subjects, which I love, but I want to get in on one. You said you started beat making, right?
Yeah.
Do you still do that now or no?
I still loop samples and stuff. And when I DJ, I go through a lot of old, like funk, like I'm a huge funkster, like funk, boogie, post disco. So I'll still make my loops and I'll still make my beats, but I haven't put out a beat that I made since like To the Dome. So it's been like a year and a half. But I still got them in the vault, but I'm just waiting for them. I'm waiting for my quality to boost. I don't want to just loop samples. I want to eventually learn how to like put a bypass filter on it and then put my own drum line or bass line or add my own synths. So I'm waiting until I get to that level to start sharing my beats again.
Do you miss the hip hop game when samples were like the main way to make a song? Because I feel like it was super soulful, and now I think like all the legal stipulations is kind of fucked up, like hip hop, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, man. Because sampling was such a big aspect from the very beginning. And then even they say before they were even sampling, they were just getting disco 12 inches and rapping over the disco 12 inches. So I think that's always going to be a part of hip hop. And I think there's still some people keeping it alive, like London Drugs, Jay Worthy, and then down in LA. They just loop samples mostly.
Nice.
But it's a real niche market now. It's not like you're going to hear something like that on the radio. But yeah, I would love to see it. I would love to see it back on the radio and, you know, people finding old school songs to sample again. That's the music I fell in love with. So
yeah, I mean that's one reason I really give all the respect to Jay-Z, because he's like made songs and then he basically says, all right, all these songs, if you want to use them, they're gonna be for free. I went through this, so you don't have to go through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to take all the patents off my music so every rapper after me can use this and I get charged up the ass to use this. Because people don't know that about music. They don't know that to make an entire album, an artist has a cap of like a couple $1 million to freaking pass samples, get the artwork, just everything you were saying. Right. So, Dan, sorry, that was like a whole loop off.
No, I'm listening.
I wanted to ask you a question which I'm interested in. Did you go through any obstacles at first rapping, being a non-black rapper?
Let's see. I would say no, not really.
Not really?
Not really. Like, if I was in a cypher with a bunch of black dudes, yeah, like I gotta really do really, really, really good.
Yeah, that's how you get the respect, man.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I've been in cyphers before. I used to cypher a lot, like when I was living out in Sacramento, and like, but the thing was, I was with a lot of people who were from the East Coast at the time because I was working for a nonprofit, and they happened to be African American, but one was from Boston, the other was from DC, and then another one was from like Maryland. Yeah. So I didn't attribute it, and they were the ones I sharpened my sword with a lot, those guys.
Nice.
And they always were kind of hard on me, but I always attributed it to me being more West Coast and them being more East Coast. Like, that's the difference that I saw in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't say that I've encountered any hardship due to that.
Yeah, I guess the only reason I asked is because for sure white rappers, they get it 100%. But I feel like a lot of like Latino rappers that they can like either really, really miss the mark, or they can actually just like be a Fat Joe or a Big Pun. And I think you're one of those people that did not miss the mark. You're one of those people that got it on the head. So I was just wondering, like, this guy got bars. Did he like face any obstacles? But obviously not. So shout out to you. Just not really on music right now. I see people are questioning your basketball skills, bro. I see people are questioning you. Tell us, what's your basketball history? Do you play a lot, or what?
I shoot every day.
Tell us your basketball history.
I put up shots every day. I went to Granada High School, which is a high school in Livermore. It's a good old school. So even though I would argue still, and I know if any of the dudes who are on the team see this, they're going to be like, oh, you weren't that good. I was like the second best player at that school at that time, behind Hebe Brandon. I was catching up to David Williams. David Williams, if you see this, you know I was catching up to you before I broke my hand. But I just didn't fit into that group, man. I was a stoner. I was a slacker. The coaches didn't like me. Teachers didn't like me. So organized basketball was never my thing.
Yeah.
But, just growing up and playing, I'm a playground hooper. And, you know, just growing up and playing on the playground, man, and making friends or going to neighborhoods where you don't know anybody, but you start playing together and you gain that mutual respect for each other. That's what it's all about for me. And I go out and take my shots every day. And if I see the youngsters playing half court, I'll ask them if I can jump in. And but I got that old man game now, baby. I'm not playing the way I used to be, like a gazelle out there. Now I gotta, you know, back them down left corner or left block off glass every time I'm gonna get them.
Hey, there you go.
To go over them, but yeah. So I never played organized or anything. But shit, you know, maybe for my 30th birthday, I'll go try out for the LASPO team or something and see what happens.
Hey man, do it. I'm willing to see some Nicofasho handles.
Yeah.
In your album, you said something about crying when Kobe died. What inspired you about Kobe?
Oh man, Kobe Bryant. That's when I was a kindergartner and I first fell in love with basketball. My dad would always take me and my sister to get basketball cards, and I remember my dad made me a Laker fan because he was a Laker fan. He was from Sacramento, and they didn't have the Kings back when he was growing up, so he was a Laker fan naturally. And for some reason, Kobe Bryant never played a game yet, but I traded my sister a Kobe Bryant card for a Michael Jordan card, who was like at his very top at the time. And there was just something about the dude. I was just like, hey, like, I'm going to rock with him. Like, this is going to be my favorite player.
Damn.
And then just to see him live up to it as much as he did. And then after, I remember, like, no one liked Kobe until, you know, God bless his dead. But a lot of people didn't like Kobe until after he passed. Then the respect and the love came. But a lot of people hated him. And I always admired the fact that, especially after Shaq left, that he was able to go and get two more after Shaq left. Because everybody said he couldn't do it without Shaq. And he sacrificed one legacy that he could have had as a number two for a legacy as the guy, and still turned out, you know, pretty up there. So he's just always been inspirational for me, and he's always been, you know, no matter what, I would always be able to turn the TV on and know that I could count on Kobe to make me feel good that day. Or I could count on Kobe to come through for me if other shit wasn't, you know, coming through in my life. So when he passed, man, I just remember I called my sister and I called my dad, and I just broke down, man. And it kind of made me think about my dad too, because me and him didn't always, growing up, our relationship was very up and down, and we're good now. But I'll always remember the first championship the Lakers won, me and him just kind of having a moment, like I was in third grade. And I remember, you know, them officially winning against the Pacers in Game 6. And me and my dad just having this cool, like, bro moment, just like, all right, like, hey, we got one. That's it. Yeah, so it's just all of that is it's tied into a lot of things about my life that I value a lot. So when he passed, it kind of made me realize, just like, wow, man, like, it's just deep. Sorry, I'm getting choked up just talking about it again. Yeah,
man, dude, it was like a cultural moment when Kobe died. It's like whether you were a big fan of his or not, because I'm not going to say I was a big fan of Kobe. Obviously, I admired the guy. But I grew up being a LeBron head. I grew up with LeBron being my Kobe. So when Kobe died, I was just like, holy shit. I didn't even know, like, I liked Kobe this much. Like, I just, you know, it's one of those figures that will always be there, and you never kind of think of them dying one day.
Right.
So when he died, I was just like, this can't be real. Like, a fucking what do you mean a helicopter fell? Yeah. So
my sister texted me that news, like, the minute after it got posted by TMZ. So I was working at the time, and me and the dude who were working were like, nah, that's not true. And we started calling people, and we found out it was true. But he was like an older cat, and he didn't like Kobe like that. So it was no big deal to him. So I had to sit there and play tough the whole day with him and act like I wasn't hurting him and go home and cry like a baby to my wife.
That's the worst, dude. You're just like, you know, I want to cry, but my man's over here doesn't care about basketball. I just gotta hold these tears in for a bit. That's hilarious, dude. Damn. So what you think basketball culture had some type of inspiration to you now?
For sure, definitely. And not even playing basketball, but like I remember when I was a kid, like my favorite game to play with my dad is we pick a team and we try to see who can name more players from the team back and forth. So like Lakers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, and then we just keep going back and forth. And I was always kind of like a fanatic about it. I kind of lost it like around the 2010s. I was just dealing with a lot of stuff, so I wasn't paying as much attention to basketball. But if you ask me about anything from like the late 80s to fucking 2003, I know everything about basketball. And I'm getting back into it again. It's a trip now because now I'm older than the players that I'm watching.
Wow.
So I'm watching it from a whole different perspective. But I'm a huge LeBron fan too, by the way. And let's hope he gets this championship this year.
I hope so.
I actually have a LeBron James rookie autograph card.
What?
So I got a $5 pack. So that's my backup plan. So I looked it up on eBay.
That's your 401k or what?
Yeah, that's my 401k. I got to get it graded. And if it's not a good grade, then I got to figure out how to forge good grades. But we'll get to that when it happens.
That's hilarious. Oh, who are you most excited for to see this season? It's about to come back, right?
Yeah, it's about to come back. I think they just they started scrimmages last night. I'm a Laker fan, so I love to see the Lakers. The Clippers look really good. I'm not even sure who made the cut and who didn't. My favorite sleeper team is the Suns. I feel like they just have a really good young core, and they have, Booker, Oubre, and they're a deep bench. I think they're going to be a problem if they can hold on to all their pieces.
Yeah.
Ja Morant's my favorite young player, rookie. Everybody compares him to Westbrook, but I think he's more like Iverson. He reminds me of Iverson,
nice.
The young Iverson. So those are the main people I'm keeping a watch on now.
If I'm being honest, I haven't really followed with NBA in a while because I was kind of hurt after. So I used to watch NBA heavy. I was always a LeBron fan, but the team I rode and died for was the 07 Warriors. Like they were my shit. Like. Fuck, dude. They got me into basketball. Well, I was playing basketball before, but they got me into watching basketball. Yeah. So after they got rid of Monte Ellis and they did the rebrand, I was like, fuck this whole shit, man.
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
all this NBA shit.
You guys were pissed when they traded Monte.
I was so mad. I almost cried, bro. I thought it was like when Kobe died for you, bro. I was like, what? Monte left? So,
man. For Bogey, right? For every fucking Bogey? You gonna trade him for Bogey? Chris Mullin had to fucking get escorted out of the building that day.
Jesus Christ, man. But
I
I know, right? Like now, it's a bittersweet moment for sure. Now we got a whole bunch of fucking rings. Our logo still sucks ass, but I'm still a fan.
Well, I'm mad they took away Thunder from you guys. That's fucked up. Thunder was like the best. He was the best mascot in the NBA. Then you're just gonna. It was weak though, like for the Thunder, and they don't even have a mascot. Like at least move him over to the Thunder. But I thought that was weak. And
our logo is the most like simple. How many people have put a fucking Bay Bridge in a circle? How many people have done that? Like why are you? Anyways, my bad. This is supposed to be about you, my man. You have many layers to you, as we can tell. It's not only hip hop; it's basketball. Dude, for sure. Hey, you're a shoe head too, right? Because the other day on Instagram, you're just like, hey, man, this was made in 1992 at 10:42 at night and shit like that.
I grew up obsessed with sneakers too. My parents always laugh and tell me a story about when I was playing soccer and they got me new cleats, and I was like 4 years old, and I would run up to a puddle, and then I'd see the puddle and I'd run around it because I didn't want to mess my cleats up. And I've always been like that since I was a kid. I'd pull my shoes out of the box and look at them and, just do that. My mom always wanted me to design shoes when I was a kid, but I suck at drawing, so I never got into it. And then I was working at Foot Locker when I was 16, and I actually got arrested because I was stealing shoes from the Foot Locker. And they walked me out. My record's sealed now. It's the only thing I was ever arrested for. So it's okay. It's far enough in the rear view for me to just go ahead and say what it was.
And you were 16. Come on.
I was 16. They called me into work on my day off. I went there. I went to the very back, and they already had cops there waiting for me. And the cold part about it was the cops took my shoes because the shoes I was wearing were stolen. They were just some low-top Air Force Ones, so I didn't think they were going to be able to track them like that.
That's hilarious.
They found out that they were stolen. They checked the SKU. So they walked me from one side of Stone Ridge Mall, one end, all the way to the other end, in my Foot Locker uniform, handcuffed with no shoes on, just in my socks.
Oh, that's cold-blooded.
Dirty.
That's cold-blooded.
I shunned shoes for like maybe 10 years after that. And just recently, like, I'm starting to get back into it. But yeah, me and sneakers have a love-hate relationship for sure.
I feel you, man. Well, it's about that time, dude. I just want to say thank you for coming on. I had a good conversation. I wish we had the chance to meet in person, but earlier you said you might end up coming to Portland someday in the future. So if you ever do, hit me up. I'm here. Open door invitation.
Okay, bro. Likewise, if you're ever over here.
Right on, man. But before we leave, just tell the listeners, what do they have to look forward to? Where can they follow you and just keep up with just you, your music, anything you have going?
Sure. My Instagram is Nicofasho. That's NICOFASHO _. You can find me on Spotify, iTunes, any of those streaming platforms. Nicofasho, no space, NICOFASHO. Right now on there, I have the Powwow Music EP with Matt King, aka Kingston. And then I have La Huerta, my project that's out right now that I'm pushing. Expect a 4-piece EP from me and Osmito. It's going to be called The Function, Live from the Function. That's going to be coming out this summer. I got a 3-piece coming out with Loop Digger. I got another 3-piece coming out with Trailer Limon, who's a dope funk artist from the Bay Area, a member of the group called the Pendletons. Got another one with High Park Funk, who's also another funk artist out in Europe. Nice. My homie Loop Digger, I got a 3-piece coming out with him. So you're going to be hearing a lot more from me, in the time coming up, and then we'll see where that takes us and what the next step is going to be.
Dope, man. I'm excited. And if you ever need anyone to test that music on, I could be your test dummy, bro, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll send you this.
Actually, before we get it wrapped up, I'm dumb. I should have asked you, but I automatically assumed you were from the Bay Area. Are you from the Bay Area or not?
Yeah, well, I'm from Livermore, so it depends on if you consider Livermore. And I'm not like born and raised in Livermore, but at the same time, I'm not going to be one of those guys who was born in San Jose and all my yearbook pictures are in Livermore, but I'm like, I'm from San Jose. Yeah. Like I just can't do that. Like I'm from Livermore. So if you want to call it the Bay, it is. If not, it's all right. But,
well, I'll just call it the Bay Area artist. Anyways, hey guys, thank you guys for tuning in to listen to this audio file of Nicofasho. It's been a good time. He even gave you everywhere you could keep up with him, all his music pages, Instagram and all that stuff, and even the projects he has and the project he has to come. I'm super excited for that, and I just push you guys to look at his music because it's quality, it's dope. It's not gonna be some rinky-dink production. It's gonna be as if he poured in a lot of money to his work. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram at Untitled Unlimited, and thank you for listening. We out.